Hello and welcome back to Dragon Age the Veilguard. We are within the phase, and we have unknowingly unleashed an evil upon the world. Although, in our defense, we were also stopping Solus unleashing an evil upon the world. So, we need to speak to our party, get a lay of the land, and figure out what our next steps are. Before we do that, I got a message when I reloaded the game. Apparently in here, we have something. So let's have a look. Wonderful. We got the plate of the Blood Dragon armor, the helm of the Blood Dragon, and the vestments of the Blood Dragon. These were the pre-order rewards, and the mask of the Blood Dragon and the mantle of the Blood Dragon. Come on, have we got any more, or is that it? Just waiting for it to finish popping up with notifications? No. So, they went into our wardrobe, and this is our first time actually looking at our equipment. So what have we got? We've got a rusty sword. Oh, I see. So you can see everything that's in the game and you can see what's locked. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. That is worryingly going to get the collector out in me. And I'm going to be like, well, if we've got a list, then we've got to complete the list. But we'll worry about that later. We've also got offhands, which are, of course, all different ones as well. Okay, currently nothing in terms of actual stats on these. These are all just appearances, actually. None of this is... I just realized these are all appearances. None of this is actual stats. I wonder whether your stats are tied to your weapons or not. And then I wonder whether you can have effectively a transmog. I don't know what this game is going to call it. I assume just wardrobe. And you can have the appearance go over the top of it. That's kind of interesting. In our armor slot, however, we have some new ones. I just want to see what they look like. So, the mantle of the Blood Dragon. Oh yeah, change the look of an item for the first time, bottom right. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So if you don't know, the Blood Dragon set, I believe, was originally in... I think it might have been in Origins, but it was also definitely something that they ported to other games, such as Mass Effect, which is where I most know it from. And it was one of the rewards, I think, if you bought the game new, because it was when EA were doing their weird, if you buy the game new, then you get some DLC that you wouldn't otherwise get kind of thing. So, yeah, they brought it back in this game, also as a pre-order bonus, which, you know, it's nice enough. Although I gotta say, that dragon's not very well defined. I wonder whether it's a texture thing or not. Or whether that's deliberately meant to look more painted. Yeah, I wonder whether it's a texture thing. Anyway, that's the Blood Dragon armor. We can also choose whether we want to be in this gear or the worn leathers. Let's just stick to default appearance for now, and if we start looking weird, then we'll switch it up. Oh, this is our casual wear spot, so I could be like, yes, when we're out and about, I want to just be in whatever our armor is, but when we're back here, I want to be in plate armor. Bit of an odd choice. Right. And then that's empty helm slot. And we can also hide the helmet in conversations. That's cool. Also, do we get the armor for these guys as well? Ah, no, they have special armor. Okay. Oh, and some of these armors are tied to choices. Oh, okay, I shouldn't read this. These are all spoilers. And then we have Nev as well, who I assume has, yes, similar stuff. Ah, okay, we'll come back to that later then. I just thought that was kind of cool to look at to start with. Does this allow you to change your look? Take you back to character creation? Yes, that takes you back to character creation. Wonderful. Great. Okay then, next thing I want to do now that we've done those, is there any way to open our inventory? So it's not that button. Oh, I think I got it. No, select takes us to the map. Okay, so we have a map and we have a library with a codex in it. Okay, and a glossary of Dragon Age terminology. That's kind of cool. Yeah, there is a lot of terminology that they're going to throw at you because, I mean, it's a series which has a lot of lore and quite a few games at this point. So, yeah, that's cool. Also, it doesn't just have games, it should be pointed out. There is also a lot of lore contained in the side content. For instance, between Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition, there was actually, I believe, a book series which explained how it got to that point, and specifically explained the start of Dragon Age Inquisition. I haven't read it, but apparently there was one. I think there might even have been an animated movie in between. There was also an animated series of Dragon Age which came out after Inquisition, which I don't know whether the lore is going to tie in, but you have to assume it's going to tie in because it was set, I believe, in the Tevinter Imperium. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of things that of extra content that they could draw upon here. But let's see what we got in here. So is there a way of seeing what's new? Yes, so it's the little icon next to it. So, the Shadow Dragons. On Tevinter Templars. When one mentions the Templar Order, you no doubt picture the armoured members of the Southern Chantry. These Templars are trained to combat uncontrollable magic, blood magic and abominations with the goal of protecting people, including mages themselves, from the most violent manifestations of magical power. However, they also embody the Southern Chantry's control over mages and enforce many of its strict rules and regulations over magic in general. In addition to combat training, these Templars ingest lyrium. This mineral, usually used by mages for enchantments and rituals, grants Templars the ability to resist and dispel magic. The fact that it's also addictive, chaining them to the Chantry and resulting in paranoia, obsession, and ultimately dementia, is often swept under the rug. Yes, we've all heard about that dirty little secret. Oh, okay. The fact that it says that we've all heard about that, I wonder who these are written from and whether they're all from the same perspective of the same person or whether these are specifically written by someone, as they were in previous games. As you may have surmised by my use of Southern Chantry, this is not the case in the Tevinter Imperium. In Tevinter, we know that magic can only serve if it is allowed to flourish. We do not suppress talent, we nurture it. That is not to say we ignore the dangers of magic and what it might allow those with violent intent, if not combated. As in the south, our Templars are trained to prevent the excesses of blood magic and to subdue demons as well as those inflicted by possession. Our Templars do not take lyrium, they do not enforce unnecessary regulations. They are not given power over mages, but follow the lead of our most esteemed magisterium. They serve the Chantry and the people of the Imperium. I must admit, I rather prefer our way of doing things. Ooh, okay, so they are all written from the perspective of somebody within the world, and this is how they did it in previous games. So this one is from a letter written by Lythicia Pallas, living in a border town in the Tevinter Imperium, to a cousin in our lay, 915 Dragon, which is the current age, hence the name of the game. Okay. That's cool. So is there anything else in this section for us? So if I go... Oh, I didn't want to go back. Okay. So how do I scroll through an individual section? Ah. Oh, there isn't anything to scroll through, so I can't scroll down and see how many there are. Right, you can only scroll through ones that you have. Okay. That's a lot of the world of Thedas. We'll come back to that one. Miscellaneous. A letter dated 6 months ago. Oh, okay. So this is relating to our character. Aldweir. Strife has finally given up sending out teams to rediscover the route that was lost. Without the magic in the map, the pass will not open and the map is gone. I know it was difficult for him to make the final decision. You could see the angry vein in his forehead for days after. Maybe now he can start to move past it. Most of the others have already. But, of course, as the leader of that mission, he views your defiance and the outcome that resulted as something of a personal failure. We'll give him time. You being away is a blessing, and we all hope that your work with Varric Thedas is going well. You'll be glad to hear that some of the younger Veil Jumpers are quite excited about you being on the trail of the Dread Wolf himself. You must regale them upon your return. Irelin. Okay, so we've left the Veil Jumpers temporarily to join Varric, which is good because the person who was the leader of our mission is quite unhappy at us. Okay, that's cool. I keep going back, I don't mean to. World of Thedas. Okay. So this I think is everything that you could possibly ever know about Thedas. Let me just head down here. I'm going to know that we haven't read any of these. My god, that's a lot of lore. We will come back to this. I think we might do this bit by bit, but also we get all of the world of Thedas in one go. So maybe we'll do like a couple an episode, maybe. Whenever we come in here, we'll read a couple. The Anderfels. The Neanderthals are a land of shocking extremes. It is the most desolate place in all the world, for two blights have left great expanses of the steppes so completely devoid of life that corpses cannot even decay there. No insect or grub will ever reach them. It is a land filled with wonders like the Meridian, with its gigantic white statue of Our Lady carved into its face, her hands outstretched and bearing an eternal flame, or to Wise Up Fortress with its walls of living rock towering over the desolate plains below. The Anders too are a people of extremes, the most devout priests and most deadly soldiers, the poorest nation in the world and the most feared. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, the travels of a chantry scholar by Brother Genetivi. So that is somebody who wrote a lot of the codex entries in previous games, and I assume that the fact that we have all of these means that these are the codex entries from the previous game, or at least that would be my guess. That's Arlathan Part 2, so we probably shouldn't read that one yet. Andraste, Bride of the Maker. There was once a tiny fishing village on the waking sea that was set upon by the Tevinter Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to be sold in the markets of Minrathous, leaving behind only the old and the infirm. One of the captives was the child Andraste. She was raised in slavery in a foreign land. She escaped, then made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to be the wife of an Almari warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Tevinter. The false gods of the mountain and the winds did not answer her, but the true God did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hands, the fate, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavishing devotion upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him, and so captivated him that he offered her a place at his side, that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsake her people. She begged the Maker to return, to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give the man another shot, another chance. Andraste went back to her husband, Maferath, and told him all that the Maker had revealed to her. Together they rallied the Almari and marched forth against the mage lords of the Imperium, and the Maker was with them. The Maker's sword was creation itself, fire and flood, famine and earthquake. Everywhere they went, Andraste sang to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium. And when Meferath saw that the people loved Andraste and not him, a worm grew within his heart, gnawing upon it. At last, the armies of Andraste and Matherath stood before the very gates of Minrathous. Andraste was not with them, for Matherath had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to the Tevinter. For this, the Archon would give Matherath all the lands to the south of the Waking Sea. And so, before all the armies of the Almari and of Tevinter, Andraste was tied to a stake and burned while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing, for his heart had been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste and drew his sword and granted her the mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Maferath, cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from creation, taking only Andraste with him. And Our Lady sits still at his side, where she still urges him to take pity on his children. From the sermons of Justinia II. Okay, so yes, that is the main religious figure in the world, Andraste and the Maker, and that is the story of them. So, now that we've had our little bit of lore, let's speak to Varric, who definitely won't have any new stories for us.
I wish I could be out there with you, Rook. Just be careful, alright?
Alright. Oh, also there's Bianca, who is now completely destroyed. Interesting. I'm going to assume that Varric's going to try and repair her at some point. We speak to you? No? You have nothing to say? Alright then. Well, let us progress onwards, further into the Fade. Library. Entering a new area. A new thing to click on? Well, don't mind if I do. Introduction to the Lighthouse, new codex entry. Okay, back to the codex. Once the Lighthouse was a place of learning, with tools to study the secret workings of great magic. When Solus rebelled against those who call themselves our gods, the Lighthouse became his center of operations, with tools to study the best ways to free ourselves from the tyranny of the Evanurus. You are safe here, both those of flesh and those of fade. Any who wish help are welcome. The magic of the Lighthouse will provide for your needs, see to your comfort, and even help you understand different tongues for those who escaped here from different parts of the Empire. Should you have any other needs, ask for the slow arrow and I will help. Palasan. Interesting, so it also translates for you while you're here. That's intriguing. Okay. We'll need to see how that comes up. Now, it wants me to go over there. So you obviously know that what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to find, a blocked off route. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to find a blocked off route. Alright, well, if you're going to be that way, I'm going to head this way. I mean, it's mostly the same thing, but it feels like I had a choice in the matter. What is going on here? It's marked on the map. I mean, we could check the map, couldn't we? What is this? It's a table. Wonderful. Glad that I checked that. Would have struggled to realize it was a table until it said it was a table. Right. Well, let's head through here and see what's going on with Harding.
Whoa.
Rook, you're awake. And we're...
In the Fade.
This is where people come when they dream, but dwarves don't dream. And somehow I'm here.
Yeah, it's unreal. Nev thought we should talk about what to do next.
We should. But maybe look around a little. We might be here a while.
Okay. Well, let's have a little look around. Press this to open the skills screen and acquire new skills? Ooh. Okay. Well, this is the skill tree, huh? That's quite a lot of a skill tree. I guess what we should do immediately is, can we look at the specializations and get, and get some information on them. So this one is using tactics learned in Arlathan. The Veil Ranger specializes in bringing down targets with charged, long-range shots and pinpoint accuracy. Now, I'm going to be honest. I saw my performance in the first episode and I had some notes for myself. The first note was, never hold down the button to aim with the bow because I will miss. So, I don't feel like the Veil Ranger is my path here. So what have we got up here? It also says like control, burst, and sustain. So I guess if we assume that the Veil Ranger must be in between here, the Veil Ranger is kind of like a burst control kind of specialization. This is control sustain, and then this is sustain burst. Okay, let's see what duelist is. Swift as the wind, the Antivian Crow duelist specializes in dancing between blades and punishing enemies with devastating melee blows. So this is most how we played in the first episode. Lots of attack quickly, then get out of there and dodge around and hit them with melee attacks. Okay, and what's Saboteur? A true swashbuckler, the Lords of Fortune Saboteur specializes in using explosives and other contraptions to weaken enemies, control the battlefield, and handle even the most dangerous situations. It does look very cool, having a weapon that you can fire and chuck. Also, do we have a turret? Yeah, that one summons a little turret to fight with you as well. Huh. So, our three options are kind of like a full Blade Master style character. We have a long-ranged archer type character, and we have an a sort of engineer type character. Huh. So how do we want to handle this? What do we want to do with these? Can I have a look even further in? I mean, immediately my thought is it's between Duelist and Saboteur for what route we aim for, at least for now. So, that's a mechanized turret that you get in here. That's the weapon that you can bombard enemies with. That's a specialization. We don't get these for until much later, but at least give us an idea. You can now charge your arrows to apply necrosis in an area around your target. What's this one? Messy Death. Defeating an enemy with a charge attack from any weapon causes an explosion after a short delay. Let's drop a trap on the ground, I think, right? No, it grants Quicken. With a tool ability, grants Quickened if you defeat an enemy. Huh. Okay. I don't know. Let's see what Duelist has to offer. So Duelist, 1,000 cuts is that move that we've seen already. Assume the Duelist pose and slice a lot. Murder of Crows. That's a huge circle on the ground, does damage to everything, then does damage afterwards. What else have we got in here? Adrenaline effect now stacks up to 3 times, increasing its bonus damage and chance to disrupt enemies. And X followed shortly by X does another attack that deals stagger. So it's like you press attack, then you wait a second, then you press attack again. Huh. Interesting. I think I like that more, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we might as well look at Veil Ranger as well while we're here, just to get an idea of what we're looking at. So discover bizarre relics. Discovering bizarre relics means Veil Jumpers toy around with more experimental approaches to combat. Throw 2 entangled relic fragments that rapidly bounce between targets. That is very cool. It does fit our Veil Jumper style thing. So, Veil Jumper makes their own path. Fire a massive blast from your bow, damaging all enemies in the way. Detonates overwhelmed. So this is what I was saying in the first episode when I was talking. I think I said it was like Mass Effect 2 style combat. Mass Effect 2/3 style. In that what will happen is you will apply an effect to an enemy and then someone else shoots a second ability and that triggers that effect. So this is kind of what I was talking about, where if somebody applies the overwhelmed effect, you can then trigger that. Archer's Rhythm. Hold right trigger, then release it at maximum charge. Yeah, I hate that. Mainly because I feel I'd be really bad with it. Yeah, next shot will fire multiple arrows at once after you get a headshot. Yeah, these are the problem. Unless I get much better with the arrows, this is not going to be good for us. I really like just the first tier of it is good though. Yeah. I think the first couple are really good in here. And then of course there are other abilities that we can get over time as well. There's also a refund points option. I wonder if that means that you can just refund your entire... I guess you can just refund your entire build and redo it if you don't like it. That's cool. What do we have already? Let's go to the core. So we have Static Strikes already, which applies Weakened. And we have the Rogue Core, which is our... yeah, the various things. So, our bow, sprint attack, jump attack. Well, airborne, I can press a button to do another attack. Okay. Tap B to sidestep an attack, or double tap B to flip out of the way. Okay. I wasn't double tapping, but I probably should, right? Maybe I was by accident. Yeah, and we can also block with the sword. We get Riposte, which is on defense. We can now launch a powerful counter-attack. So let's see how this is meant to look. Yeah, so that's what we were meant to be doing the whole time. And then evasive maneuvers. So B, B, then X or Y. Yeah, so I definitely did something like this. Yeah. We launched attacks from dodges. 100% we did that. Okay, wait, can I not... Do I have to buy these? Oh, I actually don't have these yet. Oh, so I need to buy evasive maneuvers then, because this is what I was doing just without having the ability to do it. Now, do I buy Riposte as well? I think I do, because it makes sense. If I accidentally press the button, I would like it to do something. Gain precision after successful defend. What is precision? The next charged or final attack on an enemy will be a critical. Okay. Jump attacks guarantee critical hits if the target is knocked down. So, X or Y while airborne. Okay. Interesting. Lose 35% less momentum when you take damage. we shouldn't be taking damage that often. Exploding arrow. Simultaneously perform a light and ranged attack. Performing a light and a ranged attack attaches a sticky arrow to a target in range. It explodes after a short delay. And we can't do that either. Let's take gain precision after a successful defend. That might encourage me to try it. Yeah, and that puts us 1 away from pilfer, which detonates overwhelmed as well. Add an insult to injury by swiping a potion when you slice up an enemy. The potion is automatically consumed after being stolen. That's actually huge. An ability to get a potion, like an immediate heal of a potion, like that seems incredible for the problems that we're already having. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Also like that the like level up tree seems to be quite customizable to what you actually want. Yeah. We'll need to look at that more. So optional, talk to Nev and talk to Harding. Are they both in here? No, they're off and about. They're out and about. Okay. Well, let's just start exploring, I guess. Content marked with that will expire as you progress. Okay, cool. So, if we want to, what we should do before we progress anything is always do everything that has the clock on it. That's cool. Read. Faded note. Look at this place. We planned a rebellion here once, said we'd change the future of the elves, throw off the tyrants, and we did. Now the path outside is fractured. It'll be hard rekindling all the Illuvians. Solus, if you see this, I'll be looking for you, out in the world and in the mortal one. Don't cause too much trouble before I get there. Huh, so who is that? Sending a message to Solus. Also, just to check, is that what appears in our missives? No. So that's just a note that we find on the ground and we cannot come back to it. That's fine. I just wanted to check. Okay, in here. Ooh, we got a vase and some crystals. A common material for crafting. Use capstan arms to rotate the statue in either direction. Oh. To enter the library passage, 3 pairings must meet face to face. 3 pairings must meet face to face to enter the library. Is there a book over here? No. I guess we'll just hit that round. And then we'll hit this around as well. Oh. There's 1 pairing.
There must be 2 more.
Yes, a puzzle I can solve. Fantastic. So, ooh, what have we got here? Common material. So this is going to face... Well, if we have to assume that you have to face somebody, right? The only direction you could face is this direction, right? Because it's the only direction that could have anybody there. Right, let me test something else as well. You can't jump off. Oh, you can do that, though. Okay, cool. So you can sort of jump off things. Not quite in the same way as Inquisition, but you can definitely jump some distance if you want to. Okay. So we have this area which looks a little bit locked off. So this is a workshop. I have been told that things will... Oh, interesting. I have no idea where this needs to face. Oh, yes I do. I have been told that things will open up over time in this area, like in the hub. And that like some things are tutorial locked basically until they give you a tutorial on it. You can't do it. So, yeah. If we see something like that, we're not going to spend too long worrying about it. Unless it seems like we should be able to access it now, like the library. Anyway.
Wisps. Figures are in the fate, but I swear they're following me.
You alright?
Strange place you've fallen into, but I'll work with it. You know me.
Do I?
I know Varric wanted you for the job. You know the same about me.
I made a call that got you injured right after we met.
I'll be fine. You trusted me for the job, and I delivered. That's what counts. If we're stuck in this, let's hope you can trust me again.
Okay. So, here's where I introduce you to a rule that I have in all Bioware games that I play, and I extended this to games that use the same kind of thing. I hate choosing who we do the romance with. It always feels a little bit, like, forced. So, instead, we're simply just going to choose the flirt option every single time it's available. And then if there is a romance that happens in the game, we get it with whoever the first person, who we finish a romance is with, if that makes sense. So I'm going to say, let's hope things go smoother.
Alright, but I still wish we had a smoother start.
So much for first impressions.
Here's hoping I'm better on the second.
Well, you're not bad so far.
You take a lot of notes. What about?
Lately, what we know, or knew, before Solus changed the game.
And it's,
Not much. I'm sure Lace would hate to hear that, but one step at a time.
We'll figure this out.
We'll figure this out. I'm sure of it.
Really? Do you know something I don't?
No, we just... Well, we have to, right?
Yeah, that's the job.
I do like her hands-on-hip pose. It's very interesting. Right. Also, when we go through the wisps, they make a noise. Or they did the first time. I guess it might have just been a noise that happened at the same time, though. Alright. So if I head down here, I assume I can jump. Yup. Oh, I was going to say another puzzle solved, and then we fell off. Blacksmith tools, valuable item, and on divine imperatives. The helm of the Solar is destroyed. Elgernan's favorite torture is over. Too many agents have been rescued with their minds burnt out by that memory of an enraged sun. Okay, so that was one of the gods released. But I feel a lesson here. The helm was not created to torment, but the Evanaris are not as we are. A god's ruminations carry their own will and imperatives. Memory bleeds into their icons and transmutes them as fire begets fire. For our Wolf Lord, who puts so much of himself into his creations, what imperatives do they carry? The heart of a rebellion must remain hidden, yet the light of divinity is uncontainable. We must be swift. A thought lingers. Even as he saves us, what does he impart upon us? Reflections by Shuran, the one who denounced Darnthal. Interesting. So, what they're saying here is that if one of the elven gods created something, then that thing in of itself could have been created peacefully. It could have been something that was designed for a purpose. But once they start using it, or once they impart something upon it, then that can start to twist it. So in this case, the helm was not created to torment, but because that is something that Elgarnan would want, it started to twist it. And that is interesting to into our mind that Solus could potentially have been imparting his own desires onto other people, who would then join his crusade. That's that's an interesting thought. Okay. This way? Oh.
That's the second. One more to go.
Okay. Let's jump up here. And here. Okay. Successfully solved the jumping puzzle. Right. Head over here. Dining hall. Is something I can jump up to? Looks like we can just about get there if I get the right angle. No, it definitely seems to drop you quite quickly. Like, you stay in the air. Notice this? You stay in the air for a while, and then you drop really quickly. It's like gravity doesn't work the same as you normally would. It gives you a moment or two to do, like, a slow-mo jump, and if you're not going to make it, it just goes, nah, and drops you. Okay, so we know the other thing has to be in this building, right? We know that... Ah, there we go. We know that because it can only point so many ways. So let's knock those together.
Okay, that did something.
Unlock the library. That's what we know it did. Now, what where the library is. I'm not entirely sure. I assume it might be the building we just walked past, but anyway. We know that Harding should be over here in the conservatory. I'm going to leave her for a second because we got an opportunity to grab some currency. Okay. I mean, I have to for you know, for science's sake. Let's do a save. I need to learn what the quick save button is, and nope. There's a definite nope there. You cannot jump around corners. Okay, so it won't ask us to do it as well, you can assume.
It wasn't supposed to go this way. What do we do now? What do we do?
Harding?
Oh, hey, Rook. How's it going?
I suppose from Harding's point of view, we deviated from the plan and have made things a lot worse. I wonder how she feels about that. Ever seen a place like this?
Did you ever find places like this chasing Solus with Varric?
Not exactly. But with Solus, it was always about the Fade, or the Veil, or some other in-between place. Varric always hated it, though. At least this place feels different. Maybe safer?
This place reminds me a lot of the areas you spent a lot of time in the Trespasser DLC. They're very similar places, and you can assume they were of similar construction originally. Are you okay?
Harding, are you doing alright?
I don't know. Are you? Is anyone? Anyway, doesn't matter how I'm doing. What are we gonna do about this mess? We were going to go back through the Alluvion, right? Let's start with that. As soon as we can.
You know, you can take some time to just...
Now you sound like Varric. Varric and I started this. And I can't stop. Not now. Don't ask me to. So, come get me when you're ready to go. Alright?
Okay. I do remember a thing about dwarves being most comfortable near ground. More specifically, they would be very, very happy underground. So being in the Fade, and a place that dwarves cannot go, with no solid ground in sight, must be very disconcerting. Yeah. That must be quite unnerving. I can see why she'd want to leave as soon as possible. Okay. Let's head back this way. We did unlock the library, didn't we? So is this the library up here? Map? Don't know what that is up there. Okay. Let's see. Well, it actually says gather the team at the library table, so... Wait, what did we unlock then? Was this what we unlocked, the dining hall, or was this always open? I'm starting to question myself. Almost just jumped right off there. There's a painted pot and some currency. This appears to just be a way outside here. I don't think there's anything on the lower level. Okay. Ooh, what's this? Notes on a caretaker. This note has a smear of paint on one corner. Have they always been here? There are beings in the crossroads unknown even to the wise, though the most ancient ones make any domain their own. Certainly this caretaker belongs here now. I wonder what we look like to them. Need is a scaffold, and the needs of the living ever rise and fall upon it. Hunger, thirst, sleep. Imagine a constant cacophony to one sensitive to such things. Or am I too simple? Wants are fleeting, needs have deeper roots. Perhaps that's why I find this particular spirit's presence both comforting and disconcerting. The prospect that our heart's desire and our truest need could differ, or are even at odds, is hard to contemplate. Okay. So there's a caretaker who takes care of your needs? Potentially? Okay. Interesting. So maybe we'll see something about that later. Okay. Ooh. Collect Imperial Weave. So some more material. Okay. It's fine. Doors open both ways in Dragon Age, apparently. Wait, does that definitely open in... Yeah. They open both ways. Okay. Cool. Is there anything else in the map that we can see that we want to have a look at here? No, so we've been here, There are a couple of areas we cannot access or couldn't access, but let's go and see whether we can access either of those areas now. That's where the wisps went, right? They went back in here. So, let's see. Right. Back in, ignore that. Ooh, the wisps went to this. Aha! Leads us to the music room. It might have been a new room in the library, might have been what it said initially. Currency. And memories of a duet. The sheet music left by this instrument appears to be for a duet. It has been annotated by an expert hand. The annotations are accompanied by clear emotional impressions, diligent practice, with a ruthless eye to mistakes. This relief of private achievement away from well-meant misunderstanding and mindless worship, an unspoken joy in the center of rising perfect echoes. Finally, a beloved memory surfaces, a smiling glance, meeting at a crescendo, a shared moment of understanding, seeing completely and being wholly seen. The impressions fade. Okay. And over here, more materials and a lot of currency. A door that does not open yet. We can hear something behind that. Yeah, in my right ear right now, I can definitely hear something behind that. Okay. Find anything else in here? Somewhere for people to paint. What are they painting? Okay. People worshipping an eye? Or eyes looking down upon them. The eyes of the gods, perhaps? Well, that could be a dragon, potentially. Okay. We'll head back this way. Anything else unlocked in here? So this looks like an area that will be unlocked if we had 3 more wisps. Okay. Ooh, there's a downstairs. What's going on down here? Another area. The Alluvian. Ooh. Okay, Dreadwolf's Alluvian. Most of us have only traveled through Alluvians at the whims of those who call themselves our gods. We know them as mirrors that go from one to another, a bonded pair linked no matter the distance. Solus has outsmarted the so-called gods. If we use normal Alluvians, they could track us to our lair. Solus has improved upon June's work by creating a mirror whose singing stone can be can change its tune to take us to any Alluvian, and not just its bonded partner. Thus we can travel wherever this rebellion needs us with no fear of pursuit. Travel is as safe as a normal Alluvian. If you have questions, ask for the slow arrow and I will guide you. Alassan. Alright, well, can I just go in? Nope. Absolutely not. That would be forbidden. Okay. So we got more there. Let's head up this way for a second. Just check if we're clear. We haven't checked in with Varys again since we updated the story slightly. I just want to double check that we're clear here. I suspect that he won't have anything new to say, but we'll see it anyway. Yeah, he's kind of... He's sorted. I think Varric's okay. Right. And down here we go. Wonderful. Gather the team.
So, we stopped the ritual.
And Varric paid the price.
Hey, Varric made his choice to go talk with Solus. He knew the risks. We all did.
And now Solus is gone. And we're here. Wherever here is. Besides in the Fade.
Solus called it the Lighthouse.
He did? When?
How am I going to describe it? He was in the Fade, he invaded my dream, or he was in my head. Let's be serious.
In my head, Solus showed up while I was out cold to gripe about us breaking his ritual.
He's mad about us destroying his ritual?
Sounded like it. When the ritual went wrong, he ended up trapped in some kind of prison.
You're sure that wasn't just a dream? It's a reasonable reaction.
Solus can speak with people in their dreams, even kill them.
I'm not in danger. He can only barely reach me. I bled a little when I got knocked out.
So Solus is using blood magic, like any normal mage would to play with your mind.
But he's not a normal mage, like I told you. He's an elven god.
Putting together a nice ritual doesn't make him a god.
Okay. My gods were dangerous, or elven gods were dangerous? Oh, interesting. So this elven gods are dangerous is from our Veil Jumper's background. My gods are dangerous is from our elven background. How are we going to describe this? So they are gods, or are they elven gods? How are we going to say it? Let's go for elven gods were dangerous.
I worked with the Veil Jumpers. We study ancient elven artifacts, and we've learned a lot of the history. The ancient elves were so powerful that their artifacts are still dangerous thousands of years later. And their gods? They might not literally be gods, but I can only imagine how powerful they are.
All right, well, we've stopped the ritual, and there doesn't seem to be an immediate danger. For now. You're certain Solus can't use blood magic to affect your mind?
I'm not certain of anything, but we are not out of danger.
What do you mean?
Solus had 2 of the other elven gods imprisoned. When he got trapped, they escaped.
So those things we saw come out of the Fade when the ritual went wild, those are...
Elgranon and Gillenane. 2 of the ancient elven gods that Solus rebelled against.
What are we going to say here? Are we going to be sad about it? Say they're worse than Solus, they're ours to kill, or they're stronger than Solus? I don't know what we're going to say. Maybe we could be vulnerable. The escape is our fault.
They're free because of us.
They're free because of Solus.
Lace is right. If we hadn't stopped that ritual, countless people would be dead.
I know, but still, they're out there now.
Okay, then we find them and we stop them.
Solus says Elgranon and Gillenane drew on the blight for power and became corrupted. That was when he imprisoned them.
So instead of one god running around, we have 2. And they're not just powerful, they're blighted.
We need to get out there and stop them.
Just like that. We're down a man without Varric. We can't just rush in.
I know you're hurt, Nev, but the rest of us need to do something.
I'll be ready to fight when it's time, but we need to investigate, then figure out what we're dealing with.
And how many more people will get hurt, get killed, while we spend time investigating?
So, are we on Harding or Neve's side? I think that we're on Harding's side, right? Our background is that we abandoned our mission to save lives. At least that's what it said in the background story it gave us. So, I think we would find Harding's argument more persuasive. How many people are going to get hurt while we spend time investigating?
If Elgranon and Gillenane are worse than Solus, we don't have time to waste. We need to act now.
We don't know what they can do or what they want. We don't even know if Solus is telling the truth.
I'm not saying we go in blind, but this time, if we see a shot, we take it.
All right. The last place we saw them was the ritual site.
The Illuvian took us here from the ritual site, instead of back to Minrathous.
Then let's hope it takes us back.
Nev, are you okay to go?
It's a headache. I've worked with worse.
All right then. Let's get back to the ritual site.
The Illuvian has its own special room. It's just down the stairs.
I know. I'm very aware of where it is. Find the Illuvian room. A mission I can accomplish. It is here. I have done it. Fantastic. And let's gather team.
For all we know, there's a dozen demons waiting on the other side of that alluvion.
If it even takes us back to Arlathan.
Nev, you sure you're up for this?
Don't worry about me. Shall we?
Let's do this.
Arlathan Forest.
It's quiet. Well, isn't that a surprise?
There's the ritual site. But if the gods really did get out, they're not here anymore.
Right, let's take a look around and see if we can find...
Oh. What is that?
Shut it down!
I'm trying!
Oh! That's our group.
It's not working! I can't contain it!
Strife? Irulan?
What are you doing back in Arlathan?
Long story.
Isn't it always with you? And did I hear you're going by Rook now?
Nev, this is Strife and Irulan. They're veil jumpers like me. Experts in elven magic. I worked with them before Harding and Varric recruited me.
Hardly experts. I should have been able to shut that artifact down. I'm sorry, Tarith.
It's not your fault. Since the sky ripped open, the magic's been surging. Bunch of artifacts that had been dormant for centuries started coming alive. This is because of Finn Harel's, Solas's ritual, isn't it? Thought you were supposed to stop him. Or did unforeseen complications lead to unforeseen consequences? Again.
Let's bring up the map.
Will you let it go? Yes, the map was destroyed, but everyone walked out of there alive.
I told you to wait.
If I'd waited for you to make a copy, people would have died.
So you ran off on your own, and now we've lost the only way of navigating back to that site. We lost the work put into it, everything we uncovered, and everything we hadn't.
Solas's ritual. You stopped it?
Sky's not ripping itself apart anymore, is it?
All right, you stopped Solas. So why is Arlathan neck deep in wild magic?
Solus was dragged into the Fade when we interrupted his ritual, but something else got out.
Someone else, supposedly. Elgranon and Gillenane.
Mithalanast. Two of the elven gods of old. The Evanuris.
Shit. If they're back in the world, that explains a lot.
So what next?
So Elgranon and Gillenane are loose. Which means what?
You thought Solus was bad. He's a bit of a bastard, true. But next to them, let's just say they weren't known for their kindness.
There's a reason Solus led a rebellion against the Evanuris, and a reason he imprisoned them.
Of all the ancient things to unearth, of course it had to be two of the Evanuris. And of course it had to be you that unearthed them.
Tarith is in bad shape. We need to get him back to the camp.
We've still got dozens of veil jumpers unaccounted for.
How can we help?
We need to find Belara Luther. She's the best there is at working with our ancient artifacts.
And also at blowing them up.
She was off looking for another artifact before this ritual shook everything loose. If anyone can get a handle on all this wild magic and the artifacts it's setting off, it'll be her.
Right, you get your friend back to your camp and... we'll find Belara.
So, we can say you're still injured, help the Veil Jumpers, or stay here. But we'll leave her to help the Veil Jumpers.
Nev, I need you to stay with Strife and Ireland, alright?
I'm fine.
You're the best detective in Minrathis. You can help the Veil Jumpers here. If trouble shows up, they could use your skills.
Fair enough.
We'll meet you back at the Veil Jumper Camp. It's just south of here.
Valara's out near some elven ruins to the west. At least she was 3 days ago. I'd start your search there.
Good luck, Rook. And thank you.
Okay. So it's the Rook and Harding show now. Arlathan Forest, Elven Ruins.
Never been to this part of Arlathan before. This fog's strange.
It all feels a little off. Like everything shifted a little bit.
And that's where we're going to end the episode for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.